Morning, y'all. It's another day out in the shop. We got 3 small jobs we got to do today. 2 of them are kind of finishing up the Dana 30 axle upgrade that we did the other day. 2 things I noticed. Number 1 is this fill plug is leaking. So we need to put some Teflon tape on it and clean all the oil off of that diff cover. The problem is that's a 14 millimeter or 9/16 fill plug. My 14 millimeter and my 9/16 Allen wrench are too long to fit in between here. My socket is also too long to fit in there. So what I did, a few minutes ago, I knocked together this homemade tool here with a bolt in it, and that bolt head will fit in the hex head. Ooh, that's hot still. On the diff cover, and that's our new wrench. So we'll let that cool off a little bit so we can use it. And then one other thing I noticed is all the welding we did on this. It was a very cold day, and I got one spot where I welded to this cast steel where it cracked. Just a little crack right here. So I'm gonna have to grind that out and re-weld it. I think what happened is I preheated that, but it was a cold day, and I think either it cooled off before I got it welded, or it cooled off too fast after I welded it. Either way, it's warmer today, so it shouldn't be a problem to gouge that out real quick and weld it. And then the last thing we've got, I put this set of Bilstein shocks on the front. I did that the other day. I didn't film it because I had just got off of work. Was still in my work uniform. Don't want to give them any advertising because they don't like guns. So I bought a matching set to go on the rear, so we're going to put those on. And that ought to be it for today. So let me get set up, and I'll be right back with you, and we'll get this work done. Our homemade tool has now cooled off enough that we can use it. We got a little drain bucket, some Teflon tape. So we need to pull this plug out. So that's that. Now we can throw a coat of paint on this and let it dry, and then we'll throw it in the toolbox on the Cherokee. And we'll get set up to grind this out and weld it. So let me get that ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to grind out this little small crack. It'd probably be okay to leave it, but things like that just bother me. So we're going to grind it out. We're going to heat it up with the propane torch and then weld it. Shouldn't take long at all. All right. So now that's repaired. Let it cool off, and then we can spray a little paint on it. So let me get cleaned up from this and we'll get started on the next thing. Houston, we have a problem. So I was going to put these new Bilstein shocks on the back of the Cherokee. So when I put the Bilsteins on the front, the lift kit came with bar pin eliminators. If you don't know what a bar pin is, this is a bar pin right here, and the bolts comes already installed on the shock, and the bolts go through it here and here and hold it to the truck. So the Cherokee on one end of the shock on both the front and the back uses bar pins. So if you look up here on the front suspension, you can see right there is the bar pin bolted down just like it's supposed to be. So the lift kit came with its own shocks, and it came with what's called a bar pin eliminator. And I think if I walk over here, I think I've still got one laying on the ground over here from the front. Yeah. So this is a bar pin eliminator, and it bolts in there, and then you can put a regular cross bolt in there for a regular shock mount. So on the front of this Cherokee, those were bolted on, and then the shocks were bolted into them. So I just unbolted them and took them off and put my Bilsteins on. No problem. Well, on the back, the geniuses that own this before me, are actually probably the person they paid to do the work. They welded the bar pin eliminators onto the truck. So I can't unbolt them, and I don't want to cut the welds off because I don't know why they welded them, but I suspect they probably broke the bolts off. So that leaves us with the problem of getting, now if I can get this bar pin out of here, then I can just put a bolt through there just like a normal shock. The problem is I got this out of here on this shock, and where did it, well, so I cut the end of it off and then tried to press the bolt out of the rubber, and I don't know if they made that together or what, but it basically destroyed the rubber getting the bolt out, or the bar pin. So now I'm going to have to order new shock rubbers. This little piece here. I thought I had some in the drawer around here, and I probably do, but I cannot find them for the life of me. So this job will have to wait until a couple of days until I can get some new rubbers, because it's Sunday and probably not going to get any today. So I guess this video will be a little shorter than normal. That concludes today's festivities. I'm going to get everything cleaned up in here and go back to the computer and order some new shock rubbers. And we'll see you in the next one. Y'all have a good one. Hey y'all. So it's a couple days later, and I got the stuff to do these shocks. So if you'll remember, I figured out the other day that the previous owner of my XJ, when they had the lift put on, apparently they either lost the flag nuts or stripped the nuts, broke the bolts, I'm not sure which. But they welded the bar pin eliminators on the rear. And I had these Bilstein 5100 shocks that I wanted to put on, but they have bar pins in them. And this is what we've got, and what we need to fit the truck is this, because we have bar pin eliminators. So I'm going to show you real quick how you can change these Bilstein shocks from the bar pin over to the regular bushing. So what you're going to need to get you this Energy Suspension 5/8 hourglass shock eyes. You can get them off of Amazon. They were like $5 and some change. They come in a pair. I already put one in, obviously. So you're going to need that, and then you're going to need a new sleeve for your 1/2-inch bolt. You can get that from McMaster Car. You can get them on Amazon. You can probably get them at the parts store, but I didn't bother because that day the parts store didn't have these bushings. So let me show you what you're going to need to do. It's pretty easy. I tried to get this bar pin out of here without destroying that rubber bushing, but it wasn't happening. It destroyed the bushing anyways. But basically, I'm going to come over here, and you see right here, this is the one I tried to press it out, and it wouldn't budge out of the bushing. It just cracked the bushing all to pieces. So let me show you. And if you don't have a press, you can also use a you could use a vise or whatever you've got. Y'all bear with me while I get this camera set up. Okay. So basically all you got to do is press this bar pin out of here, and it'll come with the bushing and everything else. Might have to do like a, oh, there we go. Now it's coming. Now it's coming. There we go. All right, so that'll just press right out of there. And you'll see that's just an hourglass rubber bushing with that. It's made onto that bar pin. That's why you can't get the bar pin out of it. And you'll see in here, you've got, this is curved to hold that hourglass bushing. Easy peasy. So once you got that out, take your new parts. Got your hourglass bushing, slide your sleeve into there. Set them like that. Press them in, and it'll pop right down into that center piece there. Get it kind of centered up. And that's it. Easy peasy. Now we're ready to go. Now we'll be able to install them in the bar pin eliminators, and we'll be good to go. So that is how you do it. Now we've got two Bilstein 5100s that are ready to go in with the bar pin eliminators. So hopefully all this has helped y'all out or given you an idea. Appreciate y'all watching and supporting the channel. And y'all have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.